So today we are looking at axle stands. Let's give it a look. Okay, so today we are taking a look at Halfords 2-ton axle stands. Now, let's get a knife and let's get these open. Now, I was down today, I went out to do a food shop, and I needed to pick up something for the dog as well, which is subject of another video, the stake that you drive into the ground, for attaching their lead to. And long story short, I went into Pets at Home. They didn't have what I needed. Halfords was 2 doors down, so I went in there. They did have what I needed, so I got that. Whilst I was in there, I spotted these sitting there, and I thought I could do with a new set of axle stands. I have got a set, but they're a bit old and a bit ropey. I don't remember how I got them. I know I didn't buy them. I think I found them in a shed of a rented shared house back when I was a student, so I don't know what they're rated for, how old they are. They work perfectly well, they're in perfectly good nick, but I've got several project cars now, so at some point these are going to be used on one car, the Mazda, this afternoon, and then at some point in the future there's probably going to need to be another car goes up on axle stands. So yeah, we've got another set of axle stands. So these are $19.99, as the box gives away, from Halfords. I'm not a regular shopper of Halfords. Like I say, I was in there because another shop didn't have what I needed, and I saw these by chance and decided to get them. But that's not to say that Halfords do bad things. They just generally don't seem to sell things that I want. I have nothing against them. I'll go in there if they ever do have something that I actually want, but there we go. So yeah, it says 2-ton axle stands, and it's important to note that that's 2 ton per pair. So as it says here, safe working load of 1 ton or 1,000 kilos per stand must be used as a pair. So if you have something like a Range Rover that weighs 4 tons, these are entirely inappropriate. So they're not 2 tons each. They do a bigger version of these, I think are $28.99, I remember, which are 3 tons, and then you can get others that go up to much higher weights. But yeah, these will be perfectly good for your normal family car. My diesel estate Peugeot, off the top of my head, weighs just under 2 tons, so these will be able to support it. The Mazda that I'm going to be working on weighs 1.2 tons, so that's well within it. But yeah, if you buy these, pay attention to the huge lettering here and here. It is 2 ton per pair, not 2 ton per stand. That's important. So just before we open it, we'll have a look at the rest of the box. So yeah, as I said, 2 ton per pair. Minimum height 26.5 centimeters, maximum 36.5. So there's a bit of adjustment, 10 centimeters, and we'll see how well that works a bit later. So yeah, and the other side we've got instructions on how to use it. I'll angle this towards the camera. So yeah, they have to be at the correct height. Don't put one stand under one axle and then put, that looks like a bottle jack, under the other. Don't do that. You want to be jacking it up and putting one stand under each. That shows them leaving the jack under there. I mean, I suppose for added safety you could. You know, you've just got that third thing there, so that if one fails, you've still got 2 things holding the car up, especially if you're under it. Personally, I tend to just put it on the axle stands and then take the jack away. But, I mean, each to their own. I suppose that probably is a safer way. I'm not planning on getting under the car, at least not straight away. And I'm certainly not going to be spending any length of time under there. The work I'm doing at the moment is all from the top of the engine, so I'm only raising it up so it doesn't hurt my back so much after several hours of working on it. I do plan on doing an oil change, so I will bear that in mind. Incorrect, yeah, don't just buy 4 of these and put the car up in the air. It's not what they're made for. I mean, they will do it, but it's not ideal. You know, if you need the whole car to be raised up, do it 1 axle at a time. You know, do the front, then do the back, or, you know, get a lift or something. And then, of course, yeah, you should always chock the wheels. They do sell wheel chocks. They were £8. I did consider buying them, but I have other stuff here that I can use instead. So on here it says, warning, read the instruction manual fully before use. Use only as specified. I tend not to read instruction manuals. I might give this one a go, considering it will end with a car landing on my head. Never exceed the axle stand's rated safe working load. Check the vehicle owner's manual for gross vehicle weight. Yeah, we've done that. Only use when the vehicle is on solid, even and level ground with the wheels chocked. The vehicle in gear with the handbrake on. Yep, fairly sensible. The driveway is, it's not absolutely level, but it's level enough for this. I've used axle stands on the driveway before. Make sure that each stand is securely located under a strong, stable point on the vehicle. Consult the user manual for guidance. Basically, you want to be aiming to put them under the jacking points. That's where the car's designed to be held up, so yeah, you would use these. Use no more than one pair of stands. Take care when using on a three-wheeled vehicle or trailer. Upper and lower columns to be used as a pair as supplied. That's a good point, actually. How would you use this on a three-wheel vehicle? I suppose you get a Robin Reliant. The back two, easy enough. It's two wheels. On the front, yeah, that could be interesting. Also, if you jack it up and it's then resting on one wheel, just the front one, that's going to be quite unstable. I've never considered that before, but yeah. Maybe I'll have a look on some Robin Reliant enthusiast page and see what they're doing. So yeah, that's a good point. And using it on a trailer, yeah, again, trailers are much simpler. I don't see when you would ever need axle stands on a trailer, necessarily. I would just turn the trailer upside down. I'd just flip it over on itself, unless it was a massive thing, but whatever. Failure to comply with the instructions could cause serious injury. Yeah, a car landing on your head. Yeah. This item is covered by a 2-year guarantee. In the unlikely event that it develops a fault, the car will drop onto your head and you won't be able to claim on this warranty. So it doesn't actually say that. Develops a fault within this period, we will replace it. For full details and conditions, see halfords.com/guarantees or ask in store. I mean, that's probably a safe bet, considering you'll be killed and you won't be coming back for new ones, so that's for sure. Images for illustration purposes, and that gives their address. The back is the same as the front, and that side is the same as well. Alright, that's enough fighting around with the label. Let's have a look in here. Alright, instruction manual. We never read instruction manuals. So, there's one. And that's the other half. Again, quite reasonable packaging. It's all cardboard, all easily recycled. It's got these inserts, but they're just to sort of keep everything in place so it can be moved around. They're not excessive in any way. It's perfectly reasonable. And of course it was taped shut because, well, if it's upside down it will just all come out. These are quite heavy bits of metal. So, put that to there. And that's the last one. Right. So, put the box out of the way. That's what you get. Now these already feel sort of thicker and meatier than my current axle stands, which is interesting because I've been using those other ones for years with no issues. So yeah, I'm already feeling quite confident about these. So let's see if we can put a set together. So that should come out of there somehow. Yeah, there we go. And that will slide out of there. Good. I've already managed to break this off of here. That's not ideal. Let's see if we can push that back on there. There we go. And then all you do, so that would be the minimum height. You can use axle stands like that, although they say you should really have it on the bottom rung with the pin in. Slide it in like that. So that's really the official bottom one. I mean, you could gain an extra centimetre by just taking the pin out and letting it sit like that, but the end of the day, these things are there to stop you from being killed by having a car land on your head. So yeah, we'll do it properly. And then you go another one there, a little bit higher, and then the setting I'm probably going to be using, the highest, which is that one. Now I haven't got a tape measure with me, but the distance between that looks to be about 10 centimetres, which matches what it says on here and what it said on the box, that you've got about 10 centimetres of adjustability. That's more than enough height, really, if I'm honest. Yeah, I didn't really read the box before I picked these up in the shop. I just went and bought them. Bit of an impulse buy. And then reading the label just now, I was like, ooh, are these actually going to be high enough? But no, that's plenty height. That looks higher than my current axle stand, so yeah, I'm happy with that. The other one's going to be exactly the same. So pull that pin out of there. Take that out. Slide this in here. Like that. And then you're meant to push this in here, which will stop the pin coming out completely, because if that pin comes out, the thing's dropping. I mean, having the weight of a car pressing down on it will make that much harder to remove. I mean, I can just press down with my hand. That's not really coming out. So if it had the weight of a car pressing down on it, you're not getting that pin out. But still, it's your life that's resting on these things, so we'll use them properly. Right, maybe we won't. That one don't want to go through. Go on, there we go. So you push the pins through. These pins are shaped such that that won't come out accidentally. That has to be pulled out. There we go. Alright, so happy with that. Like I've said, I have no problem with Halfords. I think they sell some pretty good quality products. Some people scoff at them, but, well, fuck them. They're just being tarts, really. Interestingly, I'm just noticing, are they different ways around? Yeah, the holes don't seem to exactly line up. They're not the exact same angle. Interesting. Whatever. If you've seen that, I'll move it up. So position one like that, and the two bits aren't the same way around. Like that. As close as you can get it, but they're not the exact same alignment. Clearly this hole has been put in at a different angle. That doesn't matter, that's minor. As long as you put them, as long as they're in securely, that's fine. Right, so we're going to go and get the jack out the shed, and we're going to jack up the car, get these under it, and yeah, then that'll be the end of the review. We might read the instructions along the way. I don't think there's a right lot to it. So that just says what you've bought. That's the same thing. Read the instructions or die. More safety precautions. Never overload. Read the instructions. Never overload. Check the, yeah, it's just all the same as what it says on the outside of the box, plus a few extra bits. Ensure that the jacking points are in good condition. That might be an issue on one of the cars. Oops. Yeah. Sound condition with no corrosion. That definitely will be an issue on one of the cars. Do not attempt to move or dolly the vehicle whilst it's on the axle stands. Do not attempt to modify them in any way. Yeah, you must use them as directed. Don't use if you suspect there's a fault. Don't start the vehicle in its raised position. I suppose that's, yeah, just in case it manages to run away. I suppose I'm going to be jacking up the front of the Mazda and it's rear wheel drive, so yeah, I do want to be careful with that. But then you would have to put it in gear for it to do that, but whatever. Do not attempt to enter the vehicle. Ensure all passengers are out of the vehicle when using this product. Yeah, that's fair enough. Take care when using a three-wheeled vehicle or trailer. Yeah, okay. And then it just says, yeah, inspect before each use. Yeah, look after it, oil it and grease it, make sure it don't rust. And then that's just how you use them. Well, I already know how to use them. They're fairly self-explanatory. There's only really one way to use them, so yeah. Alright, enough waffling. Let's go and see how they do under the Mazda. Right, quick demonstration of the problem I'm trying to solve with these axle stands. It's not just about getting under the car, it's actually getting to the top of it. Now, if I go and stand in front of this, this is the MX-5, and as you can see, it's a very low slung little sports car. This front bumper is just about level with my knee. I know, Bella, I know. It's just about level with Bella as well. Now the bit I've been trying to get to is down here. So I'm constantly bent over this thing, reaching down here. My back is killing me. I was working over here as well. It's a pain in the, well, it's not a pain in the neck, it's a pain in the back. So yeah, hopefully these axle stands will bring the whole thing up somewhat, make everything just a little bit easier to work on. And of course, if I do need to go in under the car, it's a lot easier and safer to do as well. So let's get it jacked up and we'll see what it looks like with them on there. Right, so plan is, we need to stay out of the way for this, Bella. Let's go that way. So plan is, we're going to put one stand under each jacking point. Trusty collie jack. You can of course use the supplied jack if the vehicle is supplied with one. You don't have to. One thing I have forgotten to do before we do this actually is unlock the car. Fuck. Yeah. Double check the handbrake is on, which it is. It's quite firmly on. That's as high as this one will go up. Slide this on then. Now it's still such a fucking low down car that we can't actually get the stand up there. So let's drop this down slightly. That's really annoying. It won't jack high enough. This jack won't lift high enough for me to get this under. So we're going to have to jack it up another way. Fuck's sake. Stay there, Bella. Now this is an example of why you should use these things. I let the pressure out of this, see how fast it drops. And that was a quarter turn to undo it. Just imagine being under that thing, because you're fucked if that happens. This will go underneath. Yes. Now I've got to do this very gently, so how quickly it dropped it earlier. There we go, it's on. It's on. It's actually cupping the chassis perfectly. Yep. It's not going anywhere. That pin is not coming out, so as I thought it wouldn't. Alright, let's do the other side. Let's get this in place. Right there. Now this one's going under a lot easier, and you will find this if you want to use the higher points of the stand. Is you have to put one side, get it as high as you can, then the other side sometimes you can put it a little higher, then you go back to the other side and keep going like that. That's one way of doing it, but ideally you want to just get it up, get them under. Yeah, right, down gently. Ooh, ooh. There we go. That's it, she's on. So we'll find something to chock the back wheels. I think I've got something to hand. Right, the wheel chock, nothing fancy, big lump of wood will do. You can buy dedicated wheel chocks, sort of like little triangular bits of metal. It's not entirely necessary, so you do, and then make sure it's in, and that'll do the job. Then you put one either side, ideally, so it can't go forwards or back. In this situation, obviously, it's only going to go one way, and that's back. It ain't ever going to roll forward unless I put it in gear and make it roll forward. And of course, you do both wheels. Yeah, that's all you need. So, last thing before we call it a day on this video, I'll show you the difference it's made. As you can see, it's not raised it by much. That's where it was before, knee height. But Bella, where's it gone? Did you see people? Did you see people? Alright. Yeah, as I was saying, the vehicle is stable. It's not going to go anywhere, so it's just as good as it being on the ground. But everything is now a lot easier to reach. I'm not having to bend over as much. I mean, if it's at the back, I'm starting to bend over. It's okay. Everything's just that bit easier to reach. And I can always come around the side. There's the bit that I needed. And of course, we're only on the lowest setting of these axle stands, so it could go even higher if needed, but I don't know if I'm going to gain much really. I mean, it could bring it up to here, but I've still got to bend over that distance, so that's a good height. And if I wanted to, oh, right there, Bella, good girl. Yeah, I could still comfortably get underneath if I wanted to access anything underneath the car. Like I do want to do an oil change on this at some point. So yeah, once again, good product, good purchase, and I'm happy I bought them. Thank you for watching.